Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. It's Monday, which means...
It's not.
Oh, it's Tuesday. I meant to say it's Tuesday, and we're back. So what's up, everybody? Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. We had a long weekend. Larson's back from vacation, and we got a lot of recapping to do today.
Oh, we do.
We're going to talk about...
watch everything between 5 o'clock yesterday when I was about to get on my airplane. Fly back home. Until 40 minutes ago. So, yeah, on today's episode, we're recapping. Get this. WWE Smackdown from Friday. Collision from AEW on Saturday. Battle of the Belts on Saturday.
No, I didn't we got Triple Mania. We're recapping Slammiversary. There might have been an MLW show that we're recapping as well. And then, of course, on last nighted, we had the WWE Raw as well. We're going to recap that as well. So everything's going to be recapped today, Larson.
We'll be here all afternoon, man.
We're going to have a 5-hour extravaganza. Now, the big three, man, Collision, SmackDown, and, of course, Raw, because that's generally what we do here. I did watch Triple Mania, and big shout-out to Dope and Maggie for being with me on stream and going through 4 hours of, it might have been a little too AAA for my taste this year. It was like nothing really was all that satisfying. Vikingo and Kenny had a fantastic match. But, we're also recapping the entire first 3 days of the G1. You watched all of those matches.
No.
Right.
No, I was too busy sitting in the sun.
I think the only thing I've seen from the G1 was when Aaron Henare landed on his head.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that? The Mikey Nichols just dumping him on his... Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That looked rough.
It did look rough. Look rough.
So anyways.
Where should we start, though?
Oh, man. I think we're going to start on last night's Monday Night Raw because we've got new women's tag champions. I know you're happy about this. I'm happy about this. I saw a lot of people happy about this. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville picked up those the WWE Women's Tag titles after Rhea Ripley kicked Raquel Rodriguez.
Oh, right in the knee.
Right in the that one hurt me. I saw this Instagram video. You know how my Instagram feed is, right, Larson?
Oh,
this older guy was walking down these steps at sort of like a football stadium type thing.
Yeah, I saw that pop up too.
Oh my God, he just blew out.
Completely gave out. Yeah.
That's sort of what happened here with Rhea Ripley, kicking Raquel on the knee. And I was thinking to myself, oh man, Chelsea and Sonya have a real shot now.
They do.
Because Raquel's going to have a bum leg now. So, and that's what happened.
Certainly what happened. It is
pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mentioned in the kickoff show, our pre-show, that I was watching this on my flight home, and I was smiling ear to ear after Chelsea and Sonya got those tag titles. The way they've been able to establish such excellent chemistry so soon.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Chelsea's been doing awesome character work. Yeah. Like when they kind of debuted her character, I was like, I don't know. I mean, she's great. So I mean, she's going to do a good job portraying this character. I was like, I don't know what the ceiling of this is. Yeah. This could be really one note. This is going to be something where she's used to get some laughs and not much more. And then seemingly her first few weeks back on main roster, that's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
It went a lot. But since the pairing with Sonya, and Sonya's been doing awesome work for a number of years, and seemingly has never really gotten an opportunity to be a champion yet. And the pairing of both of them has been awesome. Yeah. And I'm so happy to see them both win championships finally, and hopefully they'll have a good long reign. Yeah. We've seen these women's tag titles kind of bounce around a little bit, and I know part of that is because Ronda really want to do the story with Shayna heading to SummerSlam because apparently she's out the door. And I guess that necessitated a title change to start their feud, and then have Chelsea and Sonya beat faces to get the titles. So Raquel and Liv were transitional champions essentially.
Yeah. No, everything you're saying is absolutely right, man. We have a question in our in our question threads coming up later, but it's one that we can kind of answer right now, I guess. Chelsea Green, has this been the best of the Triple H rehires? I mean, when you look at it, he signed a lot of what we refer to on the show here as depth guys. Although Viking Raiders might have moved out of that territory last night with the Viking rules match. I'm sure they'll have another one that they'll probably drop to Alpha Academy, but still.
Yeah, that match was a lot of fun, though.
I don't necessarily think at this point they could be considered depth guys, but that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. But in terms of like, at the very least, assigning that, when we heard, because we heard, I think probably through Fightful first, that they were going to give her this, Karen gimmick, if you will. And it's like, okay, well, Chelsea Green is one of those people who can take virtually anything. She took Jilted Bride at the altar and made it just gold back in Impact and even after that. And so she can take a kernel of an idea, get used to it over a little bit of time, and then just absolutely make magic with it. And that's just what she does.
Yeah.
And so her and the chemistry that she's developed, as you said, with Sonya Deville, has been off the charts great. Their interaction with Adam Pearce has helped a lot as well. It just fits. It just works. It just works really, really well, their approach to it. And to see them hold those titles. And honestly, I think that in wrestling in general, this can't be said with the TNT title, but I kind of feel like we're in an era or a phase right now where longer title reigns are kind of the thing. I kind of like the idea that they're mixing it up, at least with one of their titles, with the women's tag titles. It doesn't feel like they're doing title changes for the sake of title changes. It does feel like they're doing them a bit more motivated. Now, if that motivation is something that lasts only a couple months, so be it. But at the very least, we are getting some motivated stuff. All I care about is that these characters remain entertaining regardless of and featured, whether or not they have the tag titles. But I think if anybody can really help give a boost to the division in a way that I think Ronda and Shayna did to continue this on, it's going to be Chelsea and Sonya. The crowd reaction seemed to be really good about this.
Yeah. I think whether the characters or faces or heels, the fans will appreciate really good work.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the work that Chelsea and Sonya have been doing across the board has been off the charts. So this is the kind of these are the kind of characters that if they're continually wildly entertaining, even if they're heels, the crowd's gonna get on board with them.
Oh,
and
absolutely,
it's gonna be the inevitable face turn down the line.
And I think people have wanted this for Sonya Deville for a long time now. And I think the crowd is really understanding, what Chelsea brings to the table. And I look forward to this really quick. So this is, we do have a lot to recap today.
Yes.
And I want to mention this really quick on this episode for YouTube. I am going to do chapter breaks for like the episodes, because before each thing that we recap, that's when we'll do sort of the breakdown. Because I know some people might just want, the highlights first, then we do the recap, and then we'll do the highlights for Smackdown, then we'll do the highlights for Collision, or vice versa, whichever one we're doing first. So there will be chapter breaks on YouTube once this is in VOD land. So you can, Clay, if you're like, where's Collision? You don't want to sift through things. You can get to it through the chapter breaks.
There in the description, click a thing. It's right there. While we're on the topic of YouTube, we got a bunch of YouTube channel memberships here. I get these in real fast. Chris Joseph, thank you so much. And then we had some gifted ones here.
We had Leisha gifting 10, and then we had John Hosey gifting 10, and then Jason I'm sorry, John gifted 5 and Jason gifted 10. Thank you so much. And then David Matushek here also re-up for 3 months, as I appreciate Samantha Irvin saying Chelsea Green. In a very sarcastic way whenever she's introduced. Samantha Irvin's already the best announcer of all time in WWE.
She's really good.
She absolutely is, man.
She has individual ways to announce certain competitors, like Chelsea, like Giovanni Vinci, like Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah.
Like there's numerous wrestlers that she has. All right, I'm going to try to embody this wrestler's character just by saying their name.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
really
good. Yeah.
She's fantastic. Also on Raw, we got a bunch of SummerSlam matches made official.
Yep.
Let's start with this one. Actually.
Okay.
And talk about the chances of one Finn Balor getting the dub over Seth Rollins, because that match is official now at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship. They at the beginning of the show, Judgment Day was like, oh, we're all good and buddy now again. But there's still that tension between Finn and Damian Priest. Of course, Damian Priest got the briefcase. Finn, he wants this one more crack at Seth Rollins. After he interrupted Seth's interview last night, I mean, what do you do with Finn if he doesn't beat Seth here?
You have to do it. I loved that segment last night. It's funny, dude, because last night's Raw in general, besides the women's tag titles changing hands, it's not like a ton of stuff happened beyond formalities. Matches were made official. We all knew that these things were going to happen. And yet I thought it was still a really entertaining show. And I feel like that's where we are right now with WWE programming in general. I think that's part of why they're selling out every venue they go to. Is even when there's an episode that serves more utility than a lot of big things happening, it's still pretty entertaining because the characters are all people that you really want to see on your TV and watch them interact. And sometimes that's enough. I loved, I bitched about, or I criticized a little bit, the original promo between Seth and Finn setting up the last match at Money in the Bank, and Seth not selling Finn's, thing. And they did it. And I wonder if they did it differently this time because the crowd took it over that last time. Seth sold the shit out of Finn Balor this time.
Completely broke character.
He broke character for it. And I thought this was so good. It felt like a really good acting scene. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, Seth's in movies now, so he's going to put on his acting face. But I thought that he sold Finn Balor so well. And Finn, sometimes these little sit-down bits can be kind of cheesy. I thought this was so well done. And Finn, it's like a necessity for him to win this title. He really laid out why it means so much to him. And Seth in turn laid out why the World Heavyweight Championship is so important. He said, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than a petty vendetta, and it's bigger than me. It means more than that. And that's what they need for that title. That's what they need for us to buy into it as an A title and not a consolation prize, as so many people refer to it. I don't see it that way because I think Seth's done such a good job making it bigger than that. And to your question, Finn's got to win this thing at SummerSlam. I don't know 1,000% that he's going to, but it presents so many more opportunities and opens so many more doors for drama and tension within the Judgment Day for Seth Rollins. Have you noticed the crowd is responding so much more to Bianca now since she's lost the title than when she had it? And I think largely it's because they want to see people hunger for something, chase something.
Yeah.
And I think the same might be said about Seth Rollins. If he loses his title, he's going to be bigger. When Cody lost to Roman Reigns, I'm sorry, but right now he's bigger than he would have been if he won the title. And they want to see that chase. And I feel like it makes all the sense in the world for that title to come off Seth and go on to Finn.
Oh, it totally does. It totally does. Yeah, and it'd be, in a way, kind of full circle for it to happen again at SummerSlam.
Yeah, exactly.
Finn winning the brand new championship that was just introduced. And hopefully this time, assuming he wins, he actually has a lengthy reign. But I guess the question has to be asked as well, if he wins, is Priest going to go back on his word and try to cash in on him?
Yeah, but I hope it doesn't happen like immediately. There needs to be, I feel like Damian Priest needs to get to a point after Finn wins that title where he doesn't see another way. Finn's going to have Judgment Day. And if Damian from the inside understands, man, he's got Rhea and Dom and me, even if reluctantly, helping him keep this title, I'm not going to have a chance. I need to take care of my business. And I hope we see that journey. So it's not like the next night he cashes in on Finn. There needs to be kind of a reason because Finn wins it, but then Damian Priest, okay, well, once he loses it, that's going to be my opportunity. But if he gets the feeling that that's not going to happen, then you just got to do what you got to do. So I hope they tell a story for that.
Yeah. And maybe Priest kind of subtly trying to lead Finn down a path where he loses so he doesn't have to break his word and cash in on him. Or at
least doesn't go overboard and trying to help him. Like, hey, if you're going to keep this thing, you got to keep it, you got to keep it yourself, But then you got Rhea and Dom out there probably really trying to help Seth.
Exactly. Or Finn.
Sorry, Finn, yeah.
Cody, Brock, as anticipated, made official. Cody had a promo in his hometown last night in front of his family, sitting ringside.
Yeah.
And Brock's music hits. No, Brock's music hits again, and then Cody does his really animated walk backstage.
His SpongeBob walk, yeah.
SpongeBob walk, and then Brock just beats the hell out of him.
Not the most inspired angle.
No, I mean the whole thing hasn't been the most inspired angle because we still don't really know why Brock attacked Cody in the first place.
No, I mean, I don't know.
I'm not really going to harp on it because sometimes that's just a thing in wrestling. But
right, yeah, that doesn't bother me too much. Like, yeah, I kind of wanted an answer 3 months ago, or whenever, the post-Mania angle. Yeah, God, that was 3 months ago.
Yeah, that was Raw after Mania.
Yeah, like, yeah, I kind of wanted that. Would have been nice. I loved the actual turn. I thought it was oddly shocking, even though it really shouldn't have been. Yeah. And then I even liked. We've had a good time discussing, the tactical error of breaking Cody Rhodes' arm, because it's been entertainment. It's been the sports entertainment aspect of things. I just think that I don't know whose idea it was to do. Cody's in there. He does an Atlanta promo because, he's got the hometown crowd there. His mom's in the front row. Brock's music hits, and then it hits again. And then Cody has to go back there fishing for Brock, and Brock, does his thing. Yeah, he does a SpongeBob walk. It's just, and I don't look, nothing with Brock Lesnar is going to be terribly inspired. It's fairly one note at this point. I mean, that was kind of the joy of the Omos thing, is that it was simple. It was very simple. Omos is bigger than you. You're not going to be able to F5 him. So the idea is, but like, this has been 3 months. That was like a 2-week build. You know what I mean? Like, it's 3 months of just redundancy.
It really has been. It really has been. I mean, they're pretty much just casting Brock as this force of nature, this mountain, literally what Cody said that Cody has to get through. Yeah, it's like he's nothing more than the Cody's need for adversity personified.
He even said that,
without any sort of real storyline motivation of why this adversity is put in front of him in the first place.
Yeah. It's not terribly inspired, but hopefully, they'll have a straight up good match at SummerSlam, and if they deliver on Cody Rhodes, the underdog against the giant Brock Lesnar, I think it could be a pretty solid match.
Yeah, it could be. It could be one more match made official for SummerSlam. Shayna versus Ronda.
Oh, and I put Sonya in the notes.
I make mistakes all the time, Steve. In the notes. I'll put people's name out like people are wrestling each other. I've done that before.
That's my favorite. Yeah. And then Finn puts Finn in a headlock.
Like I was doing notes this morning and I was reading back after like the segment was in, and sometimes I'd put like on the Smackdown, the bit where Heyman comes out and was talking about how none of Jay's family members will ever forgive him. Instead of putting forgive you, I just put forgive, and I don't know why.
None of your family members will forgive.
So. Yeah. No criticism here for a little mistake in the notes. Anyways, Shayna versus Ronda made official. It was Ronda actually who made the official challenge. She was sitting up in a press box, luxury box, suite, something like that.
Yeah.
Talking some trash to Shayna. Shayna was really bringing the intensity, and I guess challenge accepted at SummerSlam. This match will hopefully be good and actually be a good launching pad for Shayna to get to be where she should have been in the very first place, which is the perennial title contender.
Yeah. Ronda really needs to not do these. I don't know whose idea it is. Like, we've had now years, like 5 years, of understanding that Ronda with a mic for an extended period of time is not a good idea.
No.
I kind of appreciate the murkiness of you, if you will, of Shayna being the one to turn on Ronda. But then now, like, Shayna being a bad guy with good points, I guess. And now it's just sort of Shayna's the good guy, Ronda's the bad guy because Ronda's saying all sorts of really venomous stuff. Like, you're
she's
just
kicking her feet up in the luxury box and not willing to confront Shayna.
Doesn't want to come down there. Yeah,
that's all heel stuff.
It's all heel stuff. So I don't really know the point. I guess maybe it was just like, well, it is what it is. Again, like you said, you can only hope, and I think it will be. I think even the brawl, the little tussle we saw in the ring last week, where it looked like Ronda was laying in some heavy shots on Shayna, or at least heavy for pro wrestling, and them rolling around, and it kind of looked real. If we can get 12 to 17 minutes of that, I think that'd be phenomenal. I think that'd be really good stuff. And, of course, Shayna has to win.
Yes, Shayna has to win. If Shayna doesn't win, then what was the point of all this?
No point whatsoever.
No point, 0 point.
Yeah. Anyways, before we get on with our actual recap, Larson, do you want to pay some bills?
Let's do it. Let's take a quick break here, friendos. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, Steve, I've talked about it numerous times here on the show. There's a time in my mid-20s when, due to a variety of challenges in my life, ranging from my career to my relationships, I started feeling really overwhelmed by life. It developed severe anxiety. It got to the point where my path forward wasn't entirely clear, so I turned to therapy so I could stay connected to what I really wanted while trying to navigate my way through life. And while it took me a few tries to find someone I felt comfortable talking to, once I did, I learned the tools I needed to better cope with my anxiety.
And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is entirely online and is designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. And all you got to do to get started is fill out a brief online questionnaire. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
In the interest of efficiency, we're not going to do breakdowns with like verbatim promos and stuff. We'll give you the gist of stuff. Cody kicks off Raw, and he gets a big homecoming welcome here because Atlanta loves him. I mean, everybody loves him. They're doing like a 2-hour special documentary movie on the guy. I mean, man, in the end, what we're looking at: Godfather, Citizen Kane, Cody Rhodes, American Nightmare, easily. With Thin Blue Line and Cody Rhodes, American Nightmare is top documentaries of all time, right? Is that what we're thinking? That's what we're thinking. I
guess it's a subjective thing. I can't tell you you're wrong.
I love it. You agree with me.
But
you agree with me.
No,
anyway, so
no agreement.
He calls out Brock. Brock doesn't come out. He calls him out again. Brock doesn't come out. He says something like, "There's a reason to the Nightmare Factory. My catchphrase isn't let's get funky like a monkey." He says, "I wish I could do that as well as he could, but the other side." Anyways, he starts talking about his mom. His mom is ringside. And then eventually Brock doesn't come out. And so he goes and he hugs his mom. So then his music hits again and Cody's like, ugh. So he goes up the ramp, and then he goes backstage, and we don't cut to backstage. We just see a chair get thrown out from backstage, and then a Cody Rhodes get thrown from backstage, and it's Brock. So Brock, beats his ass a bit, hits an F5 right in front of Cody's mom, and then Brock laughs as Cody gets to his knees. He grabs Cody's arm. He doesn't learn the first time, I guess. He puts him back in a Kimura, but he doesn't snap his arm this time. But then he puts him back in the Kimura, and then eventually he lets go, and he says, "Challenge accepted. I'll see you at SummerSlam, bitch."
Yeah. Yep. They replayed that a lot during the show, too.
They sure did. Yes, absolutely.
They sure did. Any sort of Brock beat down, you know you're going to get several of them, including during the commercial break where he comes back in the ring and hits Cody with a chair.
Oofta. Yeah, absolutely.
Then we got Matt Riddle taking on Gunther.
I thought they were gonna give this side. Do you think? I didn't notice. Was there? Oh, there was a commercial break. Okay, so this was probably technically longer than.
Yeah, but Matt Riddle's still depth guy.
Hey man, if we do that list, guys from WWE that should go to AEW, I think he's gonna be on that list.
All right, well, you're not this week, so you know.
Because I feel like he's gonna go to AEW. I don't think there's any way out for him. I really don't. I think it's all downhill at this point for Matt Riddle.
Seemingly. Well, the only sliver is if Randy Orton comes back and they do a feud with him and Orton, and somehow Riddle comes out the winning end of that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's kind of do or die though for Matt Riddle.
If that doesn't happen, like if Randy doesn't come back, back injuries you don't know.
Yeah.
Especially he's in his early 40s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he can't come back. Of course he could, but in the event he doesn't, and Riddle doesn't get that feud, doesn't get to come out the winning side of that. Yeah, who knows?
This was a really good match, though. This was really
he could
good
just
stuff.
be good match guy,
Yeah, he could.
Not a bad spot.
Yeah, and people like him a lot. Like the crowd still really likes him.
Yeah, he still gets good reactions from the crowd. Anyways, Gunther beat the hell out of him, especially towards the end.
All those chops! Oh my god,
amazing!
They were so loud. It was awesome.
They really were.
I thought for a second he was good because at one point he caught his leg. I thought he was going to chop his leg, but he just sort of battered.
Yeah, that'd been great.
But he
But it
didn't
felt
do
like my feet do now. They're all sunburned.
Yeah, yeah. I thought this was gonna be like better than the pay-per-view match. I was like, oh, are they gonna give this like 25 minutes or something like that? They didn't do that.
No, that was a Collision, Steve.
Nothing will beat. Yeah, 58 minutes. Nothing will beat the chop to the foot. That was great.
I know. That was great. So anyways, Gunther wins here. Drop kick, power bomb after Riddle misses a floating throw. After the match, Gunther gets on the announce table, grabs a mic, and the crowd's booing him. He's like, yeah, you can boo me all you want.
Yeah.
Not change the fact that tonight is the greatest night of your sad life because you came to see the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Matt Riddle, you're done.
And they cut to Matt Riddle too, and he didn't have any agreement. He didn't have any disagreement with that. He knew he's done.
He's like, I'm done. So he says, Drew McIntyre, you want to ride on my coattails, be my guest, but like everyone else, you will fall victim to the ring general.
Hell yeah, they will.
Heck yeah.
That's going to be a fucking match
there,
man. Yes, question.
Will Gunther try to chop Drew McIntyre's foot to counter the strength of the Claymore, yes or no?
Well, look, I don't know about all that. I do know that he should chop the Claymore. I want to see that Claymore flying, and then he just chops it down. Oh, God. Imagine that crowd be like, oh, no. It's like that scene in Empire Strikes Back where Darth Vader just grabs Han Solo's gun.
Laser blast.
Yeah.
Takes Han Solo's gun, yes.
Chops the Claymore down. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd
be great. All right, if someone's listening, producer for that match, SummerSlam, do that spot.
Chop the Claymore down. Send him to AEW.
Powerbomb.
Yeah, powerbomb, and then all the weight.
Full body weight pin, yes.
The balance pin.
You haven't seen that enough.
We need more.
So we're backstage, and we got an interview with Raquel and Liv. So they're talking about their match with Chelsea and Sonya, and then Rhea Ripley steps in.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
and she tells so they're talking about how Raquel and Liv they're not really afraid of anybody. Raquel's like, or Rhea's like, better be afraid of me, and Liv's like, nah, we're not. So then Rhea headbutts her and then starts fighting with Raquel. Yeah, and the security is trying to pull them apart. And while that's happening, Rhea kicks Raquel right in the knee.
That was rad.
Yeah.
She falls hard like that old man on the steps in my Instagram feed. Yeah, that was good stuff. After that, Judgment Day are making their way to the stage. Valhalla and the Raiders are getting prepped. Rhea says the Judgment Day is stronger than ever. Anybody ever think we're going to break up? Like you said, she runs down Raquel. She calls herself unbeatable, and she says tomorrow, it's just a lot of promotion. She says tomorrow Dom's going to become the new the new NXT North American champion. Dom does the thing with the boos, which is always entertaining. And then Priest gets on the mic. He says tomorrow he's going to become champion. He says also those boos are not going to change the fact that I'm guaranteed to be world champion. And Finn sort of looks irked, and he's like, don't worry. You still get the first shot at Seth. And then Finn says, yo quiero, which means I love you, brother. And then he says, Seth, whatever you have to say later, I'll be listening. And then, just more boos for Dom. And then Sammy comes out. Him and Kevin Owens.
They get by Sammy and Kevin Owens. So Sammy's like, hold on a sec. I feel like I have a good relationship with the Universe. Generally speaking, I know what they like and dislike. So just let me ask you, the fine people of Atlanta, did you pay your money to hear Dominic talk? Of course, they all say no. And he says, all right, you're in luck because we get to do it tonight. We got to shut him up. So Priest says, we've been focused on individual titles. Well, I see two titles up there look great on the Judgment Day. So they already had a scheduled match, Sammy and Kevin Owens against Judgment Day. And Priest is like, hey, put your titles on the line.
Hey.
And Sammy's like, not a bad idea, but I feel like I need my partner to weigh in on this. We haven't heard him talk because the whole time Kevin Owens is just there, just like, ooh, he is like, his anger is just percolating there. And so he's like, all right, what do you think, Kev? And Owen says, whatever I feel, leave with my heart. You want the titles on the line? I don't care. As long as I can hit a stunner, Damian Priest punch through Dominic's stupid face, you're on. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Officially title match.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
Somebody
in our chat here, in our YouTube chat, asked, do we read Super Chats? We do read Super Chats. The Dark Knight Returns says, do we read Super Chats? Did you know The Dark Knight Returns opened 15 years ago today?
I saw something on social media about it. You must get the same thing on your Twitter feed that I do. That was it all about movies or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's a pretty good one.
It is pretty solid. Yeah.
I didn't read the entire thread, but they always have the best threads about
they do have movie threads.
Like 20 entries long threads.
I think this one had at least 45.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
That was a lot.
I read the one about I think the original Alien movie.
Yeah,
which they showed like a bunch of drawings that Ridley Scott was doing of the shots and stuff. He was doing the storyboards himself.
Yeah.
And he sent those to the studio and they doubled his budget just based off of his doings.
Yeah, I'd heard that too.
That's awesome. Anyways, so after that, we had here we go. We have Ms. TV with Becky Pierce in the trainer's room. They're like, Raquel is cleared, but, we should probably get this scanned or something. And Pierce is like, wait a second. So you want to fight? She's like, I want to fight. And then the trainer's like, yeah, I guess she can fight. and then Pierce is like, okay,
it happened
cool.
Like last time we had to give out the titles because of scans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm like, well, if your knee's blown out, it's a good chance you're going to lose anyways.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Get those scans done.
Sometimes it just, you got to, just say, Pierce, can we wait a week?
If nothing else, peace of mind, you get scans done. They're like, all right, there's no damage. You're good to go. Slap a brace on there.
Pierce doesn't give a shit. He's like, whatever.
It's like, all right, doctor, if you say scans or no scans, she's good to go. Fine.
Yeah. Pierce is like, you know what? If your career's over, we bring somebody else up from NXT. I know. That's kind of the subtext, though. Are you good to go? All right. You want to get a scan? You want to see if you messed up your knee? By the way, apparently, so you see Bayley got injured, or at least she had something happen at a house show, but she was walking on it afterwards without a crutch, which was good. And she tweeted out that she should be okay.
Yeah, with the some ice on her knee, so hopefully it's
scary stuff. Serious. Scary stuff.
Got that right.
Anyways, so Liv and Raquel versus Sonya and Chelsea was up next, and just as we figured, Raquel Rodriguez's bum leg was too much to overcome. So at one point, Liv hits Oblivion on Chelsea. Sonya comes out of nowhere with a big flying knee.
That was great.
Her flying knees are great, by the way.
It has been for a number of years, too.
Yeah. And then Sonya comes running around and pulls Raquel off the apron as Liv avoids an I'm prettier and rolls Chelsea up for 2. Sonya then hits a right because Liv comes over to the apron area or to the ropes. She hits a right on Chelsea. On Liv, and then Chelsea's able to finally hit. I think it was a second I'm prettier because she hit one earlier and Liv kicked out of it. Yeah. And then Sonya tags in and Chelsea hits another I'm prettier, and then Sonya follows that up with a flying knee to get the win there. So, new tag champs, and it was pretty awesome stuff.
It was fantastic. So then they celebrate. We're backstage. Byron interviews the Newman's tag champs. Sonya says, no one wants to hear about a fake injury. We're the champions now. And Chelsea's like, I want to thank so many people. My fans, my mom, my dad, my sister, my cat. She just has a long list, and Sonya has to interrupt her to get this final point in.
That was good.
And even when Sonya's talking, Chelsea's all counting the people that she's thanked in case she's forgotten anybody's great stuff.
Yeah.
So Sonya says, we're going to run this division. Everyone has to respect us. Respect us. And Chelsea still wants to talk. But
she's still trying to thank people, yeah.
It was fantastic. Great stuff.
Then we get a big old recap package of SmackDown. Man, oh man, that Bloodline stuff is hot, dude. SmackDown ratings up. Did you see? I posted I was looking at YouTube to see what was hot on WWE's.
Yeah. It's Bloodline and LA Knight.
LA Knight. Bloodline had from SmackDown had 1.5 million views. Everything else was ranging between 69,000 and 300,000. Nice. LA Knight had just for a promo where he hinted about a short promo. Just came out of the stage and talked. 1 million views.
Yeah.
Wow. So anyways, then we get the sit-down interview with Byron and Seth. And Seth, in character, sunglasses on, he's like, I got big plans for the title. We need a marquee matchup. There's a short list of people, but Finn has made his way onto the list. But there's also Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, and then Finn walks in.
Gunther too, I believe.
He mentions Gunther. Finn walks in, and he's like, get out of here, Byron. And so Seth's like, I could take it from here, man. And so Byron walks off. Finn sits down. This one we'll read. I'll be Finn, you be Seth.
Yeah, this is really good.
He says, you know I am here. I want my rematch. I don't care how many contenders there are. The line starts with me. You know and I know the issues between us are far from over. Do what you got to do. Talk to Pierce and make the match.
So then Seth responds, look, I understand where you're coming from. He takes his glasses off. He's like,
it's just straight up.
This is Colby. This isn't Seth
Yeah,
Rollins.
right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So he says, look, I understand where you're coming from, but stop living in the past. Time moves forward.
So Finn says, I'm not living in the past. He says, I'm living in chaos. That chaos is where I'm going to take the title. I'm going to do to you what you did to me. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to laugh in your face. I'm going to take your career and alter it forever.
Seth responds, I'm going to say this once. The World Heavyweight Championship is more than your personal vendetta. It's bigger than you. Hell, it's bigger than me. If you want to settle a score, we don't need a match to do that. We can do that right here, right now. Take your shot or get out of my face.
And then Finn, he just sort of
There's
smirks.
that long pause, between them.
Yeah. And Finn realizes what he's about to do, and he just sort of smirks, and he says, cool. So he gets up, walks away, and then Seth, again, still, and somebody had mentioned this earlier, I forget who, I'm sorry, but somebody mentioned this earlier. These backstage things are always like Seth's thing. You remember the Riddle one where he just completely...
the Riddle one is
he ended Riddle's
fantastic.
career at that point. He basically ended his career. So anyway, Seth starts, taking off his mic. He's like, sorry about that, guys. Are we good? Is that enough? And then Finn comes back in, hits him. I think he throws like a chair at him. Yeah, he throws a chair at him.
Yeah.
And he gets some ground and pound in, and he says, how's that shot for you? Make the match. And then he walks off. Oof.
Yeah, it was really good.
Really
good
stuff.
Good. Seth is really good at these sit-down interviews. Yeah, because he's like, are we done yet? I think we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like, he's done.
So it's like a real movie, man. It's like one of them Captain America movies. Who's he going to be? Serpentico? No, what's his name in that
Serpent
movie?
Society?
The Serpent Society? That's what he's part. Serpent something.
Serpent something. Sidewinder, I think, is what they said he was going to be. But I don't know.
Oh, really? Okay. That's cool.
I think that's what it was, but I could be completely wrong. Next, we had a really fun Viking rules match. Viking Raiders taking on Alpha Academy. They had, like a chunk of long ship out there with some smoke fog coming out of it.
This was cool. A bunch of shields. Yeah.
Along the ropes.
Uh-huh.
Like in terms of the visuals, they gimmicked the shit out of this and looked really good.
Yeah, it looked awesome. And it was so much fun. There were a couple spots in here that were ridiculous. Like there was that power slam from Otis when the big man
Ivar,
came off. Yeah, that was rad. Chad Gable deadlifting Ivar for a German suplex.
That was great, yeah.
Holy shit.
Breaking the pin with a moonsault.
Yeah.
Valhalla spears Maxine Dupree through a table.
Mm-hmm.
Otis then appears, and that's what catches Ivar with a spinning back fist. He avoids Eric, hits some shoulder block and a body slam. He throws Eric to the ground and goes crazy. Otis hits a splash on Ivar and a choke slam into a powerbomb to Eric. Then Otis hits the caterpillar on Ivar so that he heads up top. Then Valhalla attacks him, hits him with something. And that allows the Viking Raiders to pick him up off the top rope and hit Ragnarok to get the win.
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure, man. Viking rules... You should probably have the Viking guys win.
Favors the Vikings, yes.
Right, exactly. Hey, you know what? I do appreciate that. And again, this is something we need to revisit. We need to visit in a video. The concept of a depth guy.
Depth guys could beat other depth guys, though, Steve.
So you're saying the Alpha Academy are depth guys?
They have been for a while, yeah. They haven't sniffed the title in a long time.
Yeah, I know, but like...
Depth guys could be really over too.
We're treading into territory here that we really need to figure out before we start making declarations like that.
I agree.
Like Cross ain't beating AJ cleanly anytime soon. He'll beat Gallows and Anderson.
Oh yeah,
in one-on-one matches, but he ain't gonna beat AJ solid in a one-on-one match.
Cleanly, no.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something we got to talk about down the line. Anyways, after that, Shayna Baszler comes out, makes quick work of Nikki Cross, and gets the Kirifuda clutch in moments.
Yeah,
so after
basically over instantly.
Yeah, so after the match, Ronda Rousey, stumbly bumbly on the mic, is up there, and she just sort of runs down Shayna Baszler. She gives her aspect of it, talks about what it is going through the front door, years of, going through the indies, et cetera, or coming through like she did through the back door where she has a spotlight on her immediately, and she comes in based on her name and what she's done in MMA and becomes, in her estimation, a Hall of Famer within the span of a year. She punctuates it all by saying Shayna is what was it? Like a Wish.com version of her or whatever it is. Yeah. She said a knockoff version of me.
Yeah, knockoff.
And then Shayna says, "Oh, it's easy to talk all the way up there, isn't it?" She's like, I'm a better Ronda Rousey than you are. Why don't you waltz your heavy ass down to settle this right here, right now? And then Ronda's like, "No, I'm not unless you want to make me." So Shayna comes up through the crowd. Again, a face thing to do, to the press box. She's trying to press the action. And then Ronda says, "I'm going to do you a favor, much like I've done your whole career. I'm going to get you booked on SummerSlam, you and me. I'll see you in the Motor City, bitch." Yep. Again, I appreciate some aspects of what Ronda Rousey sort of brings to the table. Her on a mic is never the right way to go with her feuds. It just isn't. It's just, and there are several people in WWE that I'd say that about. She's one of them. Mm-hmm. There are ways that you can book her feuds to make them as compelling as they can be, and she's good in the ring. She is. She can be, anyways.
Yeah. I think in like very small doses, she's capable on the mic.
When it's all punctuation. Yeah.
Yes, small doses.
Yeah.
Just little bits. Then we get a replay of what happened last week with Logan Paul and Ricochet. We get a Ricochet interview, and he's talking about Logan, says he doesn't get it. He thinks I'm a joke. I mean, obviously, he lives in his own world, so everyone is a joke to him. But here in Atlanta, people aren't here for Instagram. They're here for WWE. In this world, Jackie, Logan's the joke. Last week, I showed everyone. I brought the fight. He got laid out. Logan, meet me next week in Tampa, Florida, because I'm going to hurt you where it really hurts your ego.
Oh, there you go. After that,
what is Ricochet going to do to hurt Logan Paul's ego? Is going to say, "Look, Prime got pulled from shelves in Canada because of too much caffeine."
He's going to send him some copyright claims.
Ooh, there we go.
I don't know.
There we go.
What could he do to hurt his ego? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
either.
I feel, that's sort of one of the things. Logan Paul, in terms of ego, is sort of like bulletproof. So anyways, let me show him footage of his brother like losing a fight or something.
Again, that's it's not him. It's not Logan losing.
Doesn't really matter. Logan doesn't seem to care about that shit anyways.
No.
So I don't know what he's gonna do, man. After that, we had Miz TV. This sort of follows a familiar formula, and Becky Lynch sort of knows that.
Yeah.
So Miz, of course, opens up with some line of questioning that's sort of shitty towards her, and she's like, so she like backs him up against the ropes, and is like, "Listen, you asshole." Basically, I'm paraphrasing here. She's like, "Just bring out your stupid guest, because I know what you do on this dumb show." And Miz was actually pretty funny here in being threatened by Becky Lynch. So he's like, "All right, cool. Here's my guests, Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark." So they come down, and basically they set up a match where, number one, Becky's got to beat Zoe Stark to get into a match with Trish Stratus. If she can't do that, then she has to, say, "Thank you, Trish." She's got to get "Thank you, Trish" tattooed across her chest. And I think there's one more thing. But
I think it was just those two things. I think that was it.
Yeah, so they end up attacking Becky. Becky gets the upper hand. She takes off Trish's face mask. She puts it on herself, and she headbutts Zoe Stark. And Zoe sells it like Zoe's great in this stuff.
Yeah,
she sells it like $1 million. So
does a huge bump, starts grabbing her head.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be a really good match, man. I think it's gonna be good stuff.
I think so too.
Also, over here in the YouTube, hold on one second. Alicia Harding and Jason Dwyer gifted 10 more memberships.
Thank you.
To the crew here. Jason, also with a super chat, says, "Who will free agent Zion Quinn feud with?" He'll feud with getting time on television.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his status is right now.
He was in that one Battle Royal. That's it. That's the only time we've seen him on main roster.
Is he? Do we know if he's injured or something? Is it just that they haven't found anything for the guy?
Yeah, I don't think they found anything for him yet.
I don't know what the deal with him is. I like Zion Quinn, I guess.
I mean, I guess, as he said, you look in the dictionary under sports entertainer, there's his picture. Tim.
Well, he says that.
That's what I said. He said that.
Well, okay, yeah, right.
Doesn't mean I agree with it.
Okay, just making sure you know that's not true. Yeah. After that, we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bronson Reed. However, as I kind of figured because of what happened last week and as it actually happened, Tommaso Ciampa, who's got a lot of problems with that Bronson Reed, attacked Bronson Reed during the match right as Shinsuke was loading up for a Kinshasa. Reed flew in with a crossbody with a fun splash, and then Ciampa shows up. He attacks Reed, throws him out of the ring, and then afterwards Nakamura and Ciampa's like, "Hey man, my bad." He's like, "I'm sorry about that."
Yeah, he felt bad. He was like, "All right,
come on, feels bad. Then don't do it.
No,
then wait till the match is done." So and Shinsuke was like agreeing with that sentiment, and so he kicked him in the head.
Yeah.
And then backstage, Byron interviews Nakamura, and Nakamura says, "I'm tired of everybody getting involved in my shit." And then Byron asks him again about Ciampa, and he says, "Byron, I'm tired of everybody getting involved in my shit." He said business, but it's sort of, he had a lot of stank to it.
Yeah. He's at his wit's end. He's tired of all this.
He's at his wit's end. That's a great phrase.
Yes. And then we had some matches announced next week. Zoe Stark versus Becky. Drew will have a face-to-face, not a match, with Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
Plus more. Then we had our main event, Sammy and Kevin Owens taking on Dom and Damian Priest from Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
After the introductions of this match, of course, Finn, Rhea joined Dom and Priest ringside. Seth comes through the crowd, takes out Balor, suicide dive, so they're all brawling backstage. Take Finn out of the equation. Bell rings. Massive brawl breaks out initially with all four competitors in the match. This match was a lot of fun. The crowd was super into it.
Oh, hot crowd last night.
Massively hot crowd in Atlanta. In the end, though, Sammy,
also Liv and Raquel came down and they took Rhea out of the match.
Well, just Liv did.
I'm sorry, just Liv did. Yeah, she took her
Liv
over the barricade.
Raquel
ain't limping down there.
Nope, took Rhea out of the match. So Dom runs to Exploder in the corner from Sammy. Sammy's going to go for a haluva kick. Priest gets in the ring to try to stop him. He's looking for a South of Heaven, but then Kevin Owens hits him with a stunner. Sammy gets the haluva kick on Dom to get the win. At the end, raise up the titles, get a hug in.
Yeah. Real quick here in our YouTube chat, Mace Tenju says, how do I get a membership? I'm glad you asked. All you got to do is click join right here on the YouTube.
It's right by our name.
It's right by the name. And then, or if you don't want to go the YouTube route, you can go to patreon.com/Steven Larson. We got bonus episodes. We got question threads for all our episodes. And then we also got the Big Predictions Challenge. So before we move on to the next show that we're going to recap, Larson, let's talk about the Big G1 Predictions Challenge.
We have to.
Brutal. I think I owe you like $1 now, don't I?
Yeah, because you said you're gonna sweep the whole thing, and I said you were gonna get through 3 days. You didn't get through night one.
I didn't get through night one. Oh boy, I got cream night one. Just I think I got absolutely
3 matches
cream.
Right night one, something like that.
How many people altogether? Let's see. How many people do we have? Like 100, and we have 107. Oh, I thought it was 107. Right. 100. Oh no, you're right. 100. Wait, 100. 105 actually. No, 104. You're right. 104. All participating in the G1. So we do these predictions challenges every month. They're wildly fun. Big shout out to Cody for Cody Miles, not Cody Rhodes, for putting these together. And right now, but there is a lot of matches left.
It's only 3 days of the G1, and it goes for a whole month. So
right. The Yellow Flash on the Patreon has 18 points out of a completed 24 matches.
That's really good.
And I believe it's 1 point per match, which makes his record right now, 18 divided by 24, 75%.
That's exceptional.
Which is nuts.
That's really good.
Nick Kyle is at 17 points, which is just below that. So he's by himself in second place. Then we've got Maz by himself with 16 points in third place. Then we've got 5 people tied for fourth place. Not going to read your names because guess what? Fourth place, who cares? Fifth place, a tie for 6 people tied for, 7 people tied for, what is that, 6th place. And then 7th place, I'm tied for 7th place, and like 10 people are tied with me.
And then I'm 2 points behind you.
Oofta. So I'm at 13
Maybe they're getting all the
24.
upsets out of the way right now, and then down towards like the last few weeks, it'll be.
Man, I'm barely above half. I'm at 54%, man.
Oh, I'm below half.
Oh,
struggling
ouch.
out the gates.
Wait, let's see if anybody has 0. Oh, nobody's got 0, Larson. So we don't have nothing perfect this year.
I mean, the number of upsets already. Like, even if you were trying to get no points, like who'd have thought like Tai Chi was going to beat Will Ospreay? I would have thought that.
Night 1 was ridiculous. Gato was like, okay, we've got all these young kids who are coming up that we're going to feature, but they're going to get beat by people like Tongaloa, Tamatanga. Kenta's going to lose. There was a bunch of that where it's like guys that it's like, no, come on, they're just there to do that. I think they're just doing that early, and then guys like what's his face, the Bullet Club guy that's one of the strong tag champions, not Coughlin, the other guy,
Gabe Kidd,
yeah.
Like
I think he's gonna end up with a good G1. It's gonna take him a little bit to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I think.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's a pretty surprising outcome, especially night 1. If you're watching here right now on the YouTube, if you could please hit that thumbs up button. Give this video a like. We hear those thumbs ups, those like button hits are good for the channel. We're new to doing this. We've been doing this a couple weeks.
That's what we hear, man. That's what we hear.
So if you enjoy what you hear and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, hitting that notify bell.
Oh man, hitify that bell. Absolutely. You're
still on vacation, man.
You're in some good company here. You've got Brandon McClendon there at 11 points. Also, currently our Big Blue champion. Bree Mode is sitting there with you at 11. Dirty Rich is sitting there at 11. So in terms of like quality of participant, you're in good position right here.
All right. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better. There's
still
there's still a lot of matches left. So
yeah,
you look at a 6-point deficit, 7-point deficit. A few days go your way, you're right back into it.
Boom, you're right back into it. Absolutely. Or a few days don't go your way, and you're just sitting there.
I did not really pick a whole. Like last year, I was trying to think, what are the upsets going to be? This year, I didn't bother worrying about upsets either.
I just try to go mathematically. I was like, okay, like I don't have Naito losing a match.
Yeah, no. First one.
yeah, I know. No, I just went my final 4. They're all having for my thing. Because look, I know they're going to lose matches.
Yeah.
How am I going to know what matches they're going to lose? I know they're going to have a really good G1. So it's like I'm just going to give them all the points.
Yeah, run the board, run the table. Yeah. Cody says there's still 101 points left, so there's time to be had.
There's time
tons of points still on the table.
There's time to just watch points churn and be gone.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I might end up with 11 points, just full stop.
You're just gonna be good where you are now.
Yep, 11 points. All right, let's talk about Collision. There's 4 matches on the show, including one that was nearly an hour long.
Oh, I love when they do that.
Yeah. Some developments here, of course. Let's talk about that tag match first. FTR Bullet Club, 2 out of 3 falls. They basically gave us 3 full matches.
My God. Of those falls. This was such a good match.
It was really good.
This was, I mean, I don't know. See, I don't necessarily equate length with like match quality.
No.
But you're right. They gave us 3 stellar matches. Clearly, this is up there with match of the year territory. It really is. This was absolutely phenomenal. And the crowd was so hot. I think they would have been hot for whoever won this thing because when Bullet Club got that one pin, they were going pretty crazy. But clearly, like throughout most of it, they were cheering for FTR. I am very glad to see Bullet Club. You know, sometimes it takes one match for people really to zone in on an act. And Bullet Club, obviously Jay White does phenomenal work. If they're going to be positioned as sort of like the top heels of Collision, then I'm all for that. I think that's terrific. You know,
I don't know if anybody's gained more from the advent of Collision than Juice Robinson has.
Yeah, I can kind of. I think Bullet Club Gold in general.
Yeah, but I mean, like Jay White is already held in high esteem by just about any wrestling fan, you know, and
yeah, he is. Yeah, but there was also the worry that he was going to get lost in the shuffle.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just.
For sure.
I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because it's not just. I think Juice has really elevated his stock because he's part of faction. Like, he's a massive part of Bullet Club Gold, you know, and the work he's been putting in both on the mic, his character work in the ring.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's been a real he's been a bit of a revelation this year.
You've noticed it on social media as well. People are really cluing into Juice. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm not the only one who's turned around on Juice, man.
Yeah, like anecdotally from you, like for years. Yeah, man.
Yeah. No,
he's
just
on Juice Robinson. Turned around.
You know, dude, sometimes the presentation, sometimes it's like you go from a place like New Japan, which, yeah, I know they do the post-match press conferences, but it's not the same thing that, like North American cable TV, WWE AEW stuff does, where it can really spotlight the sports entertainment aspect of things as well. And Juice, every time the camera's on him, it's like he knows and he just lights up and you cannot take your eyes off him. Yeah. And that chemistry between him and Jay White is just so off the charts good.
It is really good. It is really good. We had the winners of the Owen tournament. Owen on the women's side of things. Willow Nightingale defeated Ruby Soho in a really good match to win the women's Owen Cup. And on the men's side of things, in a pretty solid, actually a really good main event. Yeah. Ricky Starks, with the help of the middle rope, holding on to it, defeated CM Punk via roll-up.
Couldn't have booked it any better. I was so thrilled when I saw him grab that rope. Punk put him over. As we said, that should be the case. Yep. Ricky gets so much. And let's be honest, this guy needs to be a bad guy. He needs to be an arrogant prick because he's got those looks that you'd absolutely die for, And a guy who looks that good, he's got to be a bad guy because if I looked that good, I'd be an arrogant son of a bitch, Larson. Are you kidding me? If I looked like that guy, the whole world would know it.
It's interesting dynamic through the match because, of course, Punk was getting, a split response amongst the crowd. There's plenty of CM Punk chants, but he was getting tons of boos too, and he was playing into that split response during the show. And there was one moment early on where Punk hip tosses Ricky over the top rope, and Ricky looks at Phil and is like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like Phil did him dirty doing that, because prior to this they were friendly.
Yeah.
On screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then Ricky later on has a similar spot where he does the same and lowers the rope to invite Punk back in. And the very end of this, Ricky cheats to win. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't see it on Collision, but the opening, I guess, of Battle of the Belts, he goes up to the top of the stage, and Jushin Liger is there to present him with the trophy. He just grabs the trophy out of Liger's hand, holds it up real quick and runs off.
Dude, I did have to go back and watch because I wasn't planning on watching Battle of the Belts, but I was like, because I saw that on social media first. Yeah. And then I went and I was like, oh man, I got to check this out. The full presentation. He just ripped that shit out of that dude's hands. and I was like, yes, this is the Ricky Starks. And dude, have you kind of noticed now, because I really enjoyed Collision, and I hope there does maybe seem to be that little competitive thing between the two shows. Like CM Punk, from what we've heard, is doing his damnedest backstage to be the locker room leader that, he's getting paid for. And I think he intended to be, back when he was with the company first.
But based on the stories that Jericho and Cody has told, this is a role that he's wanted for a good number of years.
That's true. Well, try again. And now he's doing that. But it does seem like there was more of I don't know, and you have to, at that time slot, you got to do everything you can, even with just a killer episode of Collision, it's doing, 580, total viewership. And here's the thing, ratings are one indication of many things. We still don't know what the DVR numbers are, we're not TV executives. And to be honest, beyond measuring, fan interest, I don't give a shit about the ratings. Yeah. But I do appreciate that they're doing everything they can to make Collision special. It's 2 hours of TV. You got to do something to make it special. Otherwise, you're going to end up like Rampage, like 300,000 views.
Well, it's not its own. I mean, they seem to have settled into the presentation what it's going to be. They have the cold open with the short little promos, and then by and large, there's 1 week where this hasn't been the case. It's focused on in-ring action above everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
They keep the talkie bits to a minimum simply just to motivate the matches, and they tell the stories in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a different approach, and it seemingly is one that, to a degree, the AEW fan base, prefers. If you have Dynamite as kind of for AEW at least, the sports entertainment show, and Collision as the pro wrestling show, there's differentiation there. If you prefer one over the other, you watch that particular program.
Well, I don't even know if it needs to be necessarily one is the sports entertainment, one's the pro wrestling. It's just every week, figure out how to book some creative and some matches that's going to resonate with the fans. And if that means doing a 10-minute promo, do that. If it means putting on an hour-long match, do that. I hope they don't book themselves into a corner of, well, we've got an interesting story to tell, and it could probably be most effective through a promo, but we're the pro wrestling show, so we need to figure out a way to tell it on the ring. I hope they don't do that, and I don't think they're going to. If there's stuff that needs to be said, say it. If there's a point you need to make through wrestling, make that point. And so, having its own feel, I think, can be achieved through the characters and the stories that you're telling. And I think the characters are varied enough, and you keep them on Collision so they don't cross over into Dynamite. Shit, I mean, whether you announce it or not, like, keep them separate. I'll just put Ricky Starks on Saturdays. Have him be one of the top heels on Saturdays. I don't know if you'd want to have him join Bullet Club Gold or not. There's maybe something interesting to be said there, but maybe not. But yeah, no, I thought that Collision was really, really good this week, and yeah, just some phenomenal matches and people being booked the way they should be booked. And CM Punk coming in, he's going to get a lot of wins, but you got to make a guy like Ricky Starks. You have to do that.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that that's the direction they went in this week.
Yeah, same. Let's go through the recap here real quick. Show it up with a bunch of really short opening promos from FTR, Bullet Club Gold, talking about their tag match. Willow and Ruby talking about their match in the finals for the Women's Owen Cup, and then Ricky Starks, CM Punk talking about their main event bout for the Men's Owen's Cup, and then the show kicked off with Jay White, Juice Robinson versus FTR match of the year, 2 out of 3 falls. We could throw all sorts of superlatives towards this match. Just go check it out. I know it's long; it's almost an hour. It's worth the time.
It honestly didn't feel like it.
No, it didn't at all.
This match had such a pace to it and such an urgency to it. The storytelling was phenomenal. It really was absolutely phenomenal.
It really was. So Bullet Club Gold, Bang Bang Gang.
Bang Bang Gang.
Gets the first fall after Juice Robinson breaks up a shatter machine. He hits Cash with the left hand, and Jay White follows with the Blade Runner on Cash to get the pin. And then Cash is isolated for what felt like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He was just cannot get the tag to Dax. Eventually he does. And then FTR hits Juice with the shatter machine to win that second fall, so that it's tied 1-1. So the third fall sees Juice looking for a pulp friction on Dax. He escapes that, puts on a sharpshooter, and Juice has to tap. Earlier on in the match, there's a great bit where both members of FTR have Jay White and Juice in sharpshooters. Of course, they're in Calgary for the show, and FTR, going back to the Revival days, has loved these spots where partners are both in submission holds, and they're trying to get each other to not give up,
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's something, whether they're doing it or their opponents are doing it, it's apparently spots they absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
So FTR wins 2-1. They retain the title. So afterwards, FTR is like, hey, good match. Let's shake hands. And then Jay White and Juice are looking at the hands. Hammond and Holland hesitating a little bit and just spit in FTR's general direction and leave.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. Did you want them to shake hands, or did you want them to spit?
No. It's Bang Bang Gang.
Bang Bang Gang. Yeah, exactly.
They don't shake hands.
Yeah, that was good stuff. After that, we had a video package for Blood and Guts. And then we had Ruby Soho versus Willow Nightingale. Another really terrific match. This one, of course, was the finals for the Owen. So Ruby, while the ref is distracted, takes a shot with the spray paint. Willow ducks that, hits a pounce, and then gets her up for a Dr. Bomb to get the win here. Awesome decision to get Willow here. I know she won the New Japan Strong title in unfortunate circumstances with Mercedes going down, and she dropped that title fairly quickly. Mm-hmm. But Willow's going to be a license to print money, and so you start pushing that right now. And her winning the Owen, absolutely the perfect call right here. And then Cowboy Tony Khan presents Willow with the women's Owen's Cup. And that cool looking title. I love that title, man. I think that title's great.
Those titles they have for the Owen Cup are pretty cool looking. And then we had a bit from last week where Shivani is outside of Will Hobbs' locker room with QT. So QT like goes in and he tries to convince Hobbs that he didn't cost him his match against Ricky Starks last week on purpose. He says, "I'd never do anything to cost you this tournament. Never. I'm a man of my word. My word is my bond." And so Hobbs is sitting down, doesn't say a word this whole time while QT's like explaining himself and apologizing. So Hobbs eventually stands up, just looks at QT and says, "Remember, your word is your bond." And then leaves.
Yeah.
Can't wait till Hobbs just spine busts QT through that ring. I can't wait.
You know, one day
you don't think it's going to happen to you?
One day we're going to turn around on QT. You know that, don't you?
You saying that after Triple Mania?
Yeah. Yeah.
QT has gotten himself in really good shape.
He has. Yeah. I went back and I watched some of the Road to Double or Nothing 2019, and that guy just looked like a schlub. Yeah. But he is, yeah. Yeah, one day we're going to turn around on him.
It's entirely possible.
Not anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. Here's the thing. Like, if QT had been booked like a credible competitor from the very beginning.
Dude, watching his video package leading up to Triple Mania, it's like really good.
Yeah,
like it's like I don't know why AAA is booking him so much better. Maybe it's because it's Conan booking him and not like himself booking him. He really shouldn't be a comedy guy. Like
no.
Yeah.
So then we got Kings of the Black Throne taking on a couple, I would imagine, local enhancement talent. They make pretty quick work of him. Malachi's about to hit a black mass, and then Andrade comes to the ramp, and Malachi just sees him, hits a black mass for the win, and then Andrade tries to storm towards the ringside area, and refs are holding him back. And Malachi has the mask with him, sits down, and puts the mask in front of him, just really taunting him with that mask.
It's my mascara. No. Then we had Ricky Starks versus CM Punk, and then commentary, of course, mentions that Jushin Thunder Liger's there. What a, I saw some people on Twitter bitching about this. What a phenomenal use of Jushin Thunder Liger. Just one quick shot of Ricky Starks ripping that trophy away from him and Jushin Thunder.
It's super effective if the idea
really
is Ricky's turning heel, and you have this legend, the pro wrestling world, making the trip all the way from Japan,
right, to
present him with this prestigious trophy.
Yeah,
and Ricky's got no time for him. The disrespect.
Oh my God, off the charts. And it's like, is that all they're doing with Liger? Yeah, and it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. So you sort of mentioned some of the stuff. Got a little chippy between Starks and Punk. And even last week when Starks didn't come down to help out with Punk, it's like he's figuring out I gotta take care of myself. And if that means going back to some old ways.
Either he could be one of CM Punk's cronies like FTR.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Or he could be Ricky Starks.
He could be Ricky Starks.
Be his own man and be a star on the Saturday show,
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Is he going to respect the pecking order that CM Punk seems to want it there?
Yeah.
Seemingly, nah.
Like you see how happy CM Punk was to open up his red sack and show it to Ricky Starks, And Ricky's like, man, fuck you, dude. You're red sack. Get out of here with that. I'm Ricky Starks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely.
Now Ricky has a belt he can put in his own red sack.
Hey, open up for CM Punk to look at it.
Yeah, look at my belt.
Yeah.
I actually won this one. You had to give up yours because you got hurt.
Yeah, I know exactly. Now you're just carrying around in a sack. No, I thought that the booking from beginning to end, I thought it was really good. I think it pushes stuff forward in a way that it's supposed to be. So hats off to CM Punk, to FTR, to Bang Bang Gang, and to Ricky Starks for sure.
It was a fun 2-hour wrestling program.
Yeah.
Also fun 2-hour wrestling program, SmackDown from Friday.
SmackDown,
So let's talk about this. So we had the first of two, I guess they're qualifying matches. Essentially, they're the U.S. title invitational 4-way. So we had one match Friday. Jeez, that saw who won that? Santos come out of that match as the winner. So I'm guessing we have another fatal 4-way on SmackDown this Friday. Winner of that will face Santos. Winner of that will face Austin Theory at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So the competitors in the match for this upcoming Friday all had really brief promos that weren't anywhere near the ringside area, not on the ramp, not the ring, anywhere. They're all backstage or in Rey Mysterio's case, somewhere at his home.
Yeah.
except LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
They put him out in front of the crowd, dropped a promo, and predictably, he got an amazing reaction.
Dude, it's so funny. I mean, it's so validating, and it's funny because over the past week or so, people have been bringing up. There's like a couple of Twitter accounts bringing up a bunch of old LA Knight stuff from his past. Just commercials and stuff that he's been on, and it just goes to show, the guy's 40 years old, and there is an appreciation there for, I think, the hustle, especially knowing that this guy has paid his dues publicly more than maybe anybody we've seen recently. And he's so invested in his own character, and he's been set free, from what Vince wanted to do with him. And I think it's sort of a perfect storm of all that stuff. And on top of that, just the fact that he's so goddamn entertaining, and seemingly they're so hesitant to really put him out there. People love a real, actual underdog story of a guy who's worked his ass off, and to see that he's so entertaining. And to come out there and 1 million views on YouTube, like eclipsing everybody but the Bloodline, the biggest thing in professional wrestling in years.
Yeah.
That's something else. It really is. Do you think they're going to go all the way and have him win at SummerSlam?
They should. Austin Theory's U.S. title reign is
dookie.
Is no good. It's crap.
It's dookie. It's crap. Yeah.
Like he was on commentary for the 4-way match on SmackDown this past Friday, and he added nothing.
He was barely noticeable.
He added nothing. It's all just, oh yeah, I beat John Cena. I beat Edge. I beat 2 Hall of Famers.
Titus was on commentary for the Viking Rules match, and it made me wonder if they're gonna if they're that was an audition, maybe
because Titus did commentary at a pay-per-view match this year, and it was really good.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Why do I not remember that? Okay.
I really appreciated Titus when asked, like, Valhalla, she does something with gods, and Titus says, I think he said, I serve Jesus, but maybe she serves him too.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's pretty good. I like that. I love Titus. I think he's great. I'd love to get him on commentary and then get Kevin Patrick out of there, man.
Absolutely. Kaufman asked if it was a Ray Dawn match on Mania. I think that was the one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had a couple. Kaufman said it was a triple threat. He had a couple good lines during the Mania match too. Yeah. I mean, it'd be great if Titus started doing commentary. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I just think that what's happening with LA Knight, it's really great. And then, but no, you should go back to Austin Theory. Yeah, he was on commentary, but you barely notice.
Yeah, he added nothing.
Yeah, nothing. He added absolutely nothing, and it's just like he's like I don't know. It's like I said before, man. You get to around. I don't know if I said it here or on a different show. I don't know what. You get to around 40, you can't drop a bad promo, And LA Knight, it's like you look at him 10 years ago, and it really wasn't. It was the kind of Austin Theory now, Yeah. So, I think I'm really hope that this push is legit. Also, Jey Uso super kicked the Wiseman, Paul Heyman.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of shit talking here.
They're really trying to push on Jimmy and Jay that Jay is responsible at this juncture for everything.
Yeah.
Including Jimmy being in the hospital.
Yeah.
Trying to drive, again, it's manipulation. Drive a wedge between Jay and Jimmy leading into Jay's match at SummerSlam, if no other reason, to get into Jay's head. And maybe the idea is if they can convince Jimmy that this is all Jay's fault, Jimmy will come back around and help Roman beat Jay.
Yeah. Jay carrying these segments is something you love to see. The super kick to Paul Heyman was a good little bit there.
Salzy asked Titus's line. He says the only God he serves is Jesus, but I don't know, maybe she serves him too.
That's good, man. That's good. I like Titus.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's talk about this new faction, maybe.
Yeah.
So there's a real quick bit towards the end of SmackDown where Street Profits are in the parking lot, and they're like, he said to meet here. So this SUV limo pulls up. Huge limo.
Yeah.
Out walks Bobby Lashley. And he invites them into the limo to have a talk.
Yeah.
Street Profits get in, the limo drives off. We've been saying for a while, they got to do something different with Street Profits because right now they're not in any position really to contend for the tag titles. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn already beat them. So, and if they're going to keep them together, they got to do something different with them from a creative perspective, whether it's a heel turn, just something. And maybe this is the start of that something. Lashley's great. Of course, last time Lashley was in a faction Hurt Business, that was incredibly awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I don't know what this is going to be or where it's going to lead, but it's promising to see Street Profits potentially aligned with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it could be really great. I don't know if there's going to be, additional members. I mean, right now you look at Judgment Day, they've got 4, it's 3 guys and a gal. So maybe they'll follow that blueprint. Maybe it'll just be these 3. But no, obviously they're all phenomenal talent. I mean, they're all absolutely top level. Yeah. And I think one thing that I really loved about Hurt Business, and I feel like we didn't get it enough, was simply the chemistry between the members. You know,
I mean, there's pretty much everything Hurt Business we didn't get enough of.
I know, I agree, and that's one thing that we see a lot of in Judgment Day is we get to see the chemistry between the members, and that's one thing that I want to be different. Whatever this is, to be different from the Hurt Business is explore the dynamics between the individuals and the group. Because that gets them over. That is the thing that people will focus on is these guys have true chemistry, have a real bond, and that you develop over time. And I want to see that develop. It's the same thing we saw that with Judgment Day. We got to see it. It wasn't evident at first, but eventually when they were just sort of allowed to be themselves, it really got across.
It developed really quick. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
you're right. It'd be great to especially seemingly with WWE's creative these days, between the Bloodline, between Judgment Day, between most of the factions on main roster, seemingly, even Chelsea and Sonya. We saw them develop their chemistry, their bond on TV. Because at first it seemed like it was gonna be Chelsea and Carmella. Carmella got pregnant, and so they pivoted to do Chelsea and Sonya. And we saw their chemistry develop on screen.
Yeah, right.
And that's where you form a bond with talents. Is you see their characters develop. Yeah. And you're like, oh, this performer is actually really awesome. Yeah. Or this new iteration of their character, or this new approach, this new presentation. Yeah. And you see that develop, and that's and it'd be great to see that with whatever this new faction is, because if they do this right, this could be really incredible stuff. It could be awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm really looking forward to see where this is going to go. Kicked off, SmackDown did with a Bianca Belair promo. The crowd really was responding to her as well. Yeah. She said, of course, she had the match with Asuka that night for the title, and so she talked up that match. That brought out Charlotte Flair. She basically said, I got next. Yeah. And she's in Flair country, so, the crowd was giving her plenty of ooze. She says, I just want to make sure there's no confusion. She says, so everybody's looking past Asuka right now. Everybody's like, yeah, Asuka, yeah. Nobody has to worry about that.
Like, Bianca's I don't want to disrespect Asuka, but
I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, exactly. That's confidence for you. So Bianca's like, I'm not going to jinx myself and focus on Asuka, but yeah, let's do that at SummerSlam, you and me. And so Charlotte's like, okay, it's on. And so then she gives her a big woo. Asuka's watching backstage.
Yeah.
After that, we have the Brawling Brutes backstage. It's fight night. Butch is in the U.S. Invitational, but first up, we have Sheamus and Ridge versus Pretty Deadly.
Yep, that match was next. Fun bout, Pretty Deadly. They're kind of like the new FTR and WWE in that, or I should say the Revival. The one thing heel Revival always did well is how to capitalize on the rules of tag team wrestling to benefit them. That's one thing Revival did in WWE, and I guess now as remember the heels in AEW better than anybody else.
I agree.
Is they know how to stretch those rules and sometimes break them, but it's always to benefit them.
Yeah.
And Pretty Deadly is like that new team.
Yeah.
That it's not like they're good wrestlers. I don't want to say they're not good wrestlers, but Pretty Deadly is not going to like wow you with their in-ring expertise per se. Is they know the rules of tag team wrestling and know what exactly they have to do to gain the advantage for themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, absolutely.
And they do it really well.
Ridge needs to stop doing those overhead belly to bellies.
He does.
They're terrifying. And so from what I understand, So I think which one? One of the Pretty Deadly guys.
Elton Prince was holding his shoulder. I thought I saw something. He had a shoulder injury afterwards.
He got injured, and apparently it actually happened when he was launched out of the ring. It had nothing to do with
the backdrop
with Ridge Holland. Ridge tweeted that out because everybody was coming for him.
Yeah,
and that's fine. But there are a couple moments in this match when he did a belly to belly, and it damn near looked like the person was going to get landed on their head. He needs to stop doing that. He should have stopped doing that shit after Big E.
Yeah,
but it's kind of scary to watch every time.
Yeah. Well, hats off to Elton Prince then, because he ended up getting the win for Pretty Deadly. Even though he's holding his shoulder the whole time. So down towards the finish, Prince exposes the upper turnbuckle, takes the cover off. So Ridge charges, Prince sidesteps, so Ridge goes throat first right to the top turnbuckle. And then Prince follows with a top rope leg drop to get the win.
Oh, according to Quote the Raven, Ridge has deleted his Twitter. I mean, it's got to be tough, man. I get it. I mean, I know that's tough, to have so many people coming after you, and then something you didn't even do, they're going to come after you. That being said, there were so many spots in that match where he tosses somebody over, and it's like they're, 6 inches away from landing on their head. It's like, I don't know why a producer doesn't step in and say, okay, listen, we're going to ease up on that move, find something else that's devastating that doesn't do that.
Exactly. I mean, they're kind of booking him as the strong man of the Brawling Brutes. There's other ways to do that other than overhead throws and stuff like that.
And I like Ridge. I like lately what he's been doing with his character stuff. I thought it's been really effective. But at a certain point, it's like, man. Daniel Morgan, thank you so much for the re-upping on the channel on the membership. We appreciate that.
And then Scott Woodford here is a member for a month. Says, good afternoon. Thank you for the content. Helps my days at work go by fast.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Then we had a Grayson Waller interview. And he says, so there was some back and forth with him and The Rock a little bit on social media lately.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I swam with Edge, and now everybody's talking about me, including The Rock. He says, every week his family is imploding, but he's sitting there talking about me. He says, tonight I've got an opportunity against 3 of the best SmackDown has to offer, and I'm going to end it with my hand raised in victory. If you smell what Waller's cooking, which if I'm not mistaken, Larson,
that's The Rock's catchphrase. Yeah.
It's The Rock's catchphrase.
It'd be interesting if The Rock came back to wrestle Grayson Waller and not be involved in the bloodline stuff.
Good Lord, that'd be horrible. Rock's like, hey, I need a win. We had Black Adam fail. We had me trying to take over the DC Universe failed.
My show got canceled.
What show?
Young Rock.
That's right. Young Rock got canceled. Man, I gave that show a try a couple times.
Same.
I couldn't get over how cheesy the reenactments were.
I know.
Some of the actors they got, like the guy that played Undertaker, I'm like, it didn't look anything like the Undertaker.
It was just too sitcom-y.
It was way too sitcom-y, but it was like single cam.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It was like too, if it wasn't so sitcom-y, then maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Then we got a Bloodline recap, and then after that, backstage, Adam Pearce walks to Charlotte while she's making her way out of the arena. And he's like, what are you doing? And she says, I'm leaving because I know you don't like when competitors get involved in title matches. She says, I feel good about my title chances either way with Asuka or Bianca, so I'm just going to go. So then she steps off frame. Bayley walks up, says, Charlotte's not the only one who feels good about tonight because it's Bayley and Io, and Io's got her briefcase. And then they walk off. Camera pans over. Charlotte's back and says, on second thought, I'll be staying tonight.
Yeah, and then Pierce, you could tell he was like, God damn it, I was so close to this being
just
clean
one-on-one match.
One-on-one match, but no. Then we had Zelina Vega versus Bayley. Bayley got the win here with a Rose Plant. After she gouges the eyes, and then Shotzi shows up on the Tron. And says, you probably have some control. She says, Bayley probably has some control over her, but do I look scared? Do I look like somebody you
sorry. It's supposed to be Bayley probably thinks she has some control.
Okay.
Again.
All right.
See?
Nah, it's all
Messed
good.
up notes.
It's all good. Long day. She says, but do I look scared? Do I look like somebody you can control? She says, maybe I'm a little weird, but I'm in control. I'm going to show you how chaotic I really am. And then she's taking some clippers to her hair and shaves her head off. And apparently it's because her sister has cancer. And so she's doing it as a sign of solidarity. And there's a GoFundMe. And I love this because Karrion Kross tweeted out the link to the GoFundMe. And it was like, it was all written. It's like, we're going to help take care of her. It was like very sort of a sinister note of support for Shotzi's sister with the link to the GoFundMe. So I don't know. It's nice to see people, break character a little bit to promote a good cause like this.
That is
pretty awesome for that to happen.
Yeah. Then we got a Jey Uso promo. He opens up talking about how it's one thing to be brothers, but it's another thing altogether to be twins, and how he and Jimmy have been inseparable basically their whole lives. And he says, I never thought one of my own family members would end up hurting them. And he says, I respect the hierarchy, I respect our grandparents, our mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, but Roman, on account of you, I'm disrespecting all of you. And Solo, I'm going to disrespect you just like I did last week. And he says to Heyman, your puppeteering of my family for over 40 years all stops right here. You're looking at the real head of the table, the real chief, and his name is Main Event Jey Uso. So this brings out Heyman with Solo. And Heyman says, Solo's not here to enforce my will or enforce victory for the bloodline. He's here to enforce peace. And he says, Jey, you know how this is going to go. This worked this way long before you were even born. Something handed down from Alpha and Sika to their father, or from their father and their father and their father before him. Next week on SmackDown, you and Roman will go face-to-face and you'll discuss the rules of engagement. But tonight, we're just going to have a chat about things. I understand you're angry, you're hostile, you're filled with vengeance, and that anger and hostility, that righteous indignation on behalf of your brother, Jey, you're sounding more and more like a tribal chief every single day. So it's like a two-pronged approach that Heyman's taken here. It's the wedge between Jey and Jimmy, and it's like, hey, you're falling for the dark side, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Jey is kind of like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So he kind of leans into Solo and goes, oh, you're right, Solo. He has no self-awareness. He doesn't understand. He didn't have the conscience needed to be the right-hand man. Jey, don't you understand that what happened to Jimmy is all your fault? You rose up against Roman. You want to become the head of the family. You want to take this family with another reputation. Jimmy, I'm here. He's like, I don't need to say that anymore. He's like, basically looks at camera. Says, Jimmy, I'm here to tell you right now. Do you know why you're in the hospital? It's all because you're a twin brother, Jey. I'll tell you this straight to your face. I don't know how you, Jey, could ever defend yourself. I don't know how Jimmy will ever forgive you. Your father will never forgive you. Your mother will never forgive you. I love you, and Jimmy, I will never forgive you. Your tribal chief will never forgive you. And that's when Solo reaches his hand out and is like, give me the mic.
Yeah, and he says, what happened to Jimmy? That's all on you. And it's funny because like he doesn't give him eye contact at first. He says, but me, and then he looks him in the eyes and says, I'll never forgive you either. Mm-hmm. And then Jey takes a swing. They brawl a bunch. Jey super kicks Solo to the floor. And then Jey sees Heyman, and he starts stalking him. But then Solo lays out Jey from behind, tells Heyman to get a chair, looks for a spike, but Jey instead takes him down with some punches. Heyman gets in the ring with a chair. Jey hits him with a super kick, follows with a suicide dive on Solo. Jey stares at Heyman, picks up a chair. Solo gets in the ring. Jey hits him with a chair, blasts him over the back, and then Heyman and Solo get out of there. So really effective segment here. This is good stuff.
It was good stuff. After that, we had the U.S. title invitational. Austin Theory provided nothing on commentary, but he was there.
Yeah, he was whispering.
At one point, AJ Styles seemed to have this match won. He was setting up for a Styles clash on Butch, only for Karrion Kross to show up on the Tron, taking out Carl Anderson. And Karrion Kross like, oh, this isn't over, AJ.
Yeah.
And so AJ leaves the ring to go help his good brother.
Yeah.
And he's taken out by Waller. So then Waller hits his finisher on Butch.
I like that AJ he was already leaving and Waller was still like, I'm going to take this guy out. It's like, he's already leaving. Just let him go.
He's already leaving.
Yeah.
It's a viral moment, Steve.
It's a viral moment.
So then Santos follows with a crossbody off the top on Waller to get the pin on Grayson Waller, and he will advance to probably lose to LA Knight.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Because Santos in a SummerSlam, that doesn't really seem like it's in the cards right now.
No, that's why they've been booking Santos.
Yeah. So then you got the Street Profits in the parking lot, and they're like, oh, he told us to be here. And then a big old, like you said, limo pulls up. Bobby gets out, shakes her hand, says, you guys ready to talk? And they're like, yeah, because we're never booked on the shows anymore. And so he's like, all right, let's get in the limp here, as the notes say.
Again.
Sorry, it's the limp. The limo drives off.
Yes.
Then we had a Rey Mysterio Matt Chat question, which we should bring back. The $20 Patreon tier, Matt Chat, baby.
Matt Chat question.
Yeah, maybe we'll get one from Rey Mysterio. But in the meantime, he sent one to SmackDown. He says, since coming to SmackDown, I found a Familia in the LWO and a Hall of Fame ring. And after next week's Fatal 4-Way, I'll be one step closer to being U.S. champ. So you got Rey, you got LA Knight, and then you got Cameron Grimes. I'm confident that I'm going to the moon. Yeah, remember that rumor that like WWE was really high on Cameron Grimes?
Haven't seen it. Haven't seen anything on TV to make me feel like that's the case.
Nope. Then we had a Sheamus promo. He's like, twice now I've had Theory beaten. Twice Pretty Deadly has cost me the title. Now I got to go through 3 men to get another crack at him. Just know Theory is mine. And then LA Knight, I want to see you dance now. And so he comes out
to the ramp. Steve, go ahead. I'm sure you.
Let me talk to you. All of a sudden, LA Knight's everywhere. Yeah? Huh? Yeah. Everyone wants to use my name to get views and click. This is like the first promo where LA Knight wasn't as crisp as he usually is.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm wondering, is even he surprised at how popular he's getting? Is it like, oh my God, I'm blowing up? Maybe. It was kind of crazy. I was like, oh my God, he's like, and I'm not saying he stumbled at all, but usually he's like insanely crisp. And this is the first time in a while that he hasn't been. Yeah. So he says, everybody wants to use my name to get views and clicks. Let's call it what it is. I'm the best decision this company's ever made because I stand head and shoulders above all. Let's talk the worst decision ever made. U.S. Invitational, nah. Austin Theory's title's in a lot of trouble, not because 5 guys are vying for that title, but because this man is coming for that title. You can call me the megastar. Hell, if you want, you can call me the GOAT. But one way or another, you're going to be calling me champ. Because whose game is it? With everybody saying LA Knight. And this crowd was so into him.
Oh, he doesn't even say LA Knight. It's all the crowd.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
And they're yahing in between everything. I think the yeah has a good chance of replacing the what. I really do.
Sure seems like it.
Yeah.
Original
Huggies here says views and clicks. Clicks. Do you think the click? You think that was a shot at Kevin Nash?
Oh, maybe.
Probably, right?
Could be.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my God. Because Kevin Nash can't stop talking about this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Apparently he apologized to him.
Yeah, I saw that. He said you know who he was.
You and I both love Nash. Love him.
Yeah.
He never got a response like this guy's getting.
No.
Yeah.
Wolfpack was pretty over.
Dude, the pop. It was over. Look, it was over.
It was super over.
Nobody's gotten this kind of pop. Nobody in WCW got this kind of pop.
No.
Maybe Goldberg when he beat Hogan. Maybe.
Luger got a huge pop when he beat Hogan.
Oh, Luger he got an LA Knight pop.
Yeah, when he won. Yeah.
When he won. Yeah.
So then we had our main event, Bianca versus Asuka. So early on in the match, Bayley and Io come walking through the crowd. Bayley's holding up her ticket. They have seats in the crowd to watch the match. Later on, after both Bianca and Asuka are laid out, Charlotte does the same. She walks through the crowd to sit ringside. We go to commercial. We come back. We see the finish happen as such. So Bianca ducks a sliding knee off the apron from Asuka, hits Asuka the KOD on the announce table. So that's when Bayley and Io hop the barricade.
Yeah.
Well, then Charlotte jumps over it too. She takes out Bayley with a running boot. And then Io rams Charlotte into the ring post, and she gets in Bianca's face with the briefcase, starts talking crap. So Charlotte's looking for a spear. Io senses it, sidesteps it. Bianca eats that. The ref calls for the bell. Bianca's obviously upset. So then Io bashes Charlotte in the head with the briefcase. And then her and Bayley look at Asuka laid out on the announce table. They're like, all right, let's get her in the ring so we can cash in. So they put her in the ring. Bayley has the briefcase telling the ref, we want to cash in. And while and the ref has the title in one hand. So she's like, how can I take briefcase with title in hand? So while that's all happening, Asuka gets up. Miss Bayley, so the cash in is never official. Asuka rolls out of the ring and laughs while Io goes down to the floor to check on Bayley.
Dan Daniels here in Twitch says all the time Sting came out to attack the NWO and nobody in WCW got an LA Knight reaction. Nope. I'm just exaggerating here. I know they probably Sting and then I don't know who else might have gotten the LA Knight reaction.
Well, Lex Luger definitely did when he beat
Lex
Hogan.
Luger definitely did when he beat Hogan. Goldberg did when he beat Hogan.
Did DDP when he finally won the title? Because he got a huge reaction when he finally won the title.
Oh, maybe that's a good one. Yeah. But that's the point though. It took like a massive WCW moment to equate a mundane LA Knight moment.
This is just another Friday for LA Knight.
It's a 3-minute promo with that. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway,
great. Yeah.
You want to answer some questions? Yeah. Is the show over yet? Nah.
Yes, let's answer some questions. I have a question here from Alex Foster. Says, with the Street Profits and Lashley teaming up, what sort of characters would you want them to be? Alex says, I'm fine with them being more aggressive, but I wouldn't want them to be necessarily complete bad guys.
I want them to change their gear. Because it's just they haven't had a change. I want them to have their own identities. Like, remember Montez? I always go back because Montez at Elimination Chamber felt like solo Montez. It was like, oh wow,
yeah, that gear was amazing.
Dawkins needs to do the same thing. 9 times out of 10, I say, if you're a tag team, matching gear. Not for these guys. These guys need to start establishing themselves as a solo act for when inevitably that happens, because it's going to happen. And it doesn't have to be in a split. They can do it as, as a team. But I'd like to see that. And I don't know. I feel like in the past, I feel like WWE has kind of gimmicked them up a little bit. And I want to see them a tad more grounded, if that makes any sense.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Just like, I don't know, a person is a more complex person than somebody who's, like introing Raw like they used to do. Remember that?
I couldn't stand that.
I couldn't stand that.
They had them do that. I couldn't stand it.
Like whenever I see Montez and Bianca in like a little documentary side thing, he's always such an interesting human being. And that's like Judgment Day. They came off as goth drones.
Yeah.
Until Triple H took over and they were allowed to be a little bit more complex, more just human beings. Exactly. Everybody should be striving to be that. Bianca gets to be that. Montez and Dawkins should be allowed to be that as well.
Yeah. Daniel Morgan here, member for 3 months, says WWE is boring. It has 2 polarizing stars. Cody is.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't read it. I appreciate the channel membership, but it was a really negative comment.
Yeah, it was. I should have read that in advance. Blind Mask also with membership. Thank you.
Let's see here. This is a great question from Gaio. It says, how close to a venue do you consider a superstar to be a hometown guy? He says, every time I go to an event in my home state of North Carolina, everyone from anywhere in North Carolina seems to get a hometown pop, despite being from anywhere in the state.
That's interesting.
I know.
Like, part of me feels like if there's a major city in that state, like Atlanta's a huge city.
Sure.
Let's say Charlotte isn't a large city, but I don't think it's the size of Atlanta.
Yeah, right.
Like if you go to New York and the wrestlers from New York City, if they go to upstate New York, I don't think they're going to get the same reaction they would in New York City,
Yeah, right.
Over wrestlers from Los Angeles, there's a show here in Sacramento, they're not going to get a hometown pop per se.
Right, sure. Yeah.
Maybe that plays a part in it.
Okay, but also I think geographical context kind of matters.
Yeah.
If there's a guy from Los Angeles, but he's primarily based in New Japan, let's say he's like in Japan, and he comes out to a San Francisco show, he might get a California pop.
Yeah, maybe. But also here in California, I can speak to this. There's the NorCal, Southern California.
Oh, there is a distinct, it's like rivalry. 2 different states. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would play into it as well. If someone from LA is announced as being from LA at a show in San Francisco or Sacramento or something,
I will say this.
A favorable response.
I will say this. If a guy is from anywhere in Canada, and if I'm not mistaken, Canada's fucking huge.
Pretty massive country.
It's their hometown. Doesn't matter if you're from Vancouver, Toronto. If you're in Canada, you're going to get the Canada
you
pop.
You could be from anywhere from Vancouver to Nova Scotia.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Exactly. Yeah.
You're going to get the hometown pop in the entire country of Canada. Yes.
So there really is no, I don't think there's any hard and fast rule.
No, I don't think so. That's, I was trying to speak specifically about the United States, but even there, I don't think there's a hard and fast rule because like a wrestler from California is not going to get a hometown pop anywhere in California.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I was trying to find some explanation to it. And, I know California is a very unique thing because there is a Northern California, Southern California kind of rivalry thing. But,
I think here's the thing, though. I think you're absolutely right. California is very much two different states.
Yeah.
Or two different territories, we should say. States is a very technical thing. Texas is Texas. Much bigger. Well, much bigger than most states anyways. It's huge, but kind of anywhere in Texas you're a Texan. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. So Organ Grinder here says in chat, Texas wrestlers don't get that kind of pop unless you're from somewhere specific, like an Austin wrestler wrestling in Austin.
Oh, I don't know about that. How many times we've seen like a wrestler from anywhere in Texas cut a promo in Texas about being from Texas?
Well, I think that's a very specific thing. Like if you're from Texas and you're talking highly of Texas, that's one thing. But I think if we're just talking strictly ring introductions, that hometown pop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I've never been to Texas, so I've never been to a wrestling show in Texas.
Well, I'm just thinking more general, like when the WWE like tours.
Totally, no, I understand.
Yeah, okay, that. Yeah. But like within Texas, yeah, you're gonna have this very specific pops.
Yeah,
I would think. Yeah,
I mean, if someone from LA is at a show in Sacramento and puts over the state of California, I'm guessing they're gonna get a good reception.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But if someone from LA is at a ring in Sacramento and speaks only highly of LA,
yeah.
Probably not gonna get that favorable of a reception.
A lot of different things to consider. Let's see here. Okay. Story feels free. Says, who is the mid-card wrestler you'd most want to see in a G1 style tournament? He says Chad Gable. For me, it's Seth Rollins. Gable's a great answer. For me, it's Rollins.
Hold on. Did you just call Seth Rollins a mid-carder?
Oh, who's the mid-card wrestler? I'm sorry. I was thinking of just WWE in general. Mid-card wrestler, Tommaso Ciampa.
That's good. Axiom.
Oh, that's a good one. As Axiom or A-Kid?
A-Kid.
Oh, no. Coach John Pliskin says, I think super chats are busted. Are y'all trying to give us super chats and they're not coming through?
Oh, no.
Let me double check here something real quick.
All right. This question's for you, though, Steve, so pay attention. From Andre Zimpel.
I'm doing that.
Would you rather have it where you have to confess that Hulk Hogan is your favorite wrestler of all time or that Cody is not that good of a draw?
Okay, so those are two separate things. Because I think Cody being a draw can actually be quantifiable. Like there was that one time when they were selling tickets to like a house show without Cody, and they weren't selling that great. And then they put Cody on there, it sold out.
And it sold out, yeah.
It's quantifiable. So that would just be a lie. The other thing would be a lie too, because Hogan's not my favorite wrestler of all time.
Which lie would you rather have to claim?
I mean, I don't want to say that Hulk Hogan's my favorite wrestler. I'd be like, oh yeah, Cody's not a draw, and they'd be like, oh Steve, you're an idiot. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I was forced into this situation by a weird question.
Yes, exactly.
Maggie just tested a super chat for $2. Thank you, Maggie. Says test. So Test is her favorite wrestler.
Let's see. Atomic Sunrise of LA Knight wins the U.S. Championship. Reports of WB keeping him heel or true. Who'd be the best face for him to feud with?
If who? What now? What?
LA Knight was U.S. champ as heel. Who should he feud with? Baby faces. Who should he feud with?
Rey Mysterio.
He already did have like a little mini thing with Rey.
Revisit that.
Yeah, he beat Rey. Didn't
he? Johnny Gargano.
I think he's gonna be on Raw, but he's seemingly doesn't exist in WWE Universe anymore.
Who's even on SmackDown? Feuds with Bobby Lashley's new faction.
Oh wow! If they're a new faction, they're not losing anytime soon.
Oh, let's see here. Bucket Dipper says, should QTV just transition to a deathmatch faction after QT Marshall's great ambulance match? You know who loved that match? Was Dark Dank Lucha. Yeah. Oh man, he loved that match. Really? I felt so bad. We were watching and he left because he was working or something. Yeah. And then he comes back in a chat after that match. And I was like, dude, who's going to break the news to Dark Dank Lucha that Pentagon lost to QT Marshall? I had to break the news to him. He was livid. He was livid. Yeah. John Hosey also did a test here. His favorite wrestler is Double Test.
Double Test. Cameron Bortolazzo here says, have you heard a promo from wrestler you've never seen or heard of and been instantly hooked? Cameron says, that was me yesterday when I heard Ellis Coughlin promo for the G1.
I'll have to go back and revisit that because I didn't really see Maybe I'll be impressed because everybody's saying, "Oh, promo of the year," and I'm like, "Nah, man, Kenta calling everybody ugly was promo of the year."
Yeah,
that was best.
That was great.
Eddie
promo
Kingston
from one person.
Eddie Kingston. First time I heard him talk, I was like, "This guy right here. This guy right here is everything."
Answer. That's a great answer. I think for a lot of people, LA Knight.
Yeah. No, I remember.
Kevin Nash.
I think the first time I saw him was in Impact, LA Knight.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, this guy's promo is amazing."
Zach Sparks, who do you guys see becoming main event level stars who have been relegated to mid undercard now that there's been a good bit of the Triple H era? You want to say Seth Rollins again for this one?
So what main event guys have we seen relegated to mid card?
No,
look, buddy, we're an hour 45 minutes deep. All right, I don't have your questions in front of me, so I do not retain that shit at all.
I know. I'm giving you a hard time. No. What mid carders do you see being pushed up to main eventers?
Oh, Seth Rollins. No, I don't know. Maybe Shinsuke. Maybe Shinsuke if he's gonna be like, oh, I'm tired of your shit. Shinsuke, maybe him.
Ciampa. Look at Ciampa.
Wait, is this people we want or people we think are gonna go?
It doesn't specify.
People you see, is that what it says? People you see?
Yeah.
If it's people I see, I think that means people that I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
I would love for that to happen with Ciampa. I think it'd be great. Bronson Reed even, maybe.
Yeah, Bronson Reed would be great.
Oh, Damian Priest. I think that's sort of the biggest one.
Yeah, I think that seems to be the trajectory he's on.
Yeah.
Disc Golfing Goon, who's a realistic option to beat Sammy and Kevin Owens for the tag titles, and is that team even currently under contract with WWE?
That's a great question. Do they exist? I'd love for it to be Judgment Day, but then we just saw that last night.
I know, but it wasn't Finn and Priest. That's the real test.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think until it's Finn and Priest, I don't think Judgment Day is out of the equation yet.
I'd love for it to be Priest and Dom though. Like that match last night, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if they won tonight? But I kind of figured it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of it. I got a couple of questions here referring to Kevin Owens and Sammy as being cold. Strict here says was it smart for the okay, I get the idea in terms of like. So, yeah, they've main evented Raw the past couple of weeks, and they're like one of the most popular acts. Mm-hmm. They're not really in a story, though, are they? They just sort of show up and put their titles up.
I guess.
They're not in a feud. Like, who are they going to fight at SummerSlam?
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But they're still incredibly over. When I hear Cole, I think, well, the crowd is not responding to him like they used to be, and that's definitely not the case.
Okay, creatively cold is sort of the thing.
Okay, then sure, yeah.
Like Strict here says ice cold. I wouldn't apply that to them at all. Creatively speaking, they do not have, at least even Rhea, who we were saying is cold creatively. A couple weeks ago, she kicked Raquel in the knee, and now she's going to face her at SummerSlam. That's going to happen.
I'll say this because I think, like, in terms of them feuding with somebody, apparently there's nothing, but they're doing something with this Kevin Owens could barely retain his anger thing. I think that's more the story.
Yeah, I agree. It's very sort of on the low. It's just being played for comedy right now, but I think you're right. I think it's a real thing.
Yeah, I think it is real.
I just don't know what they're going to do at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I don't know either. Another invitation will determine their number one contenders.
Yeah. Coach John Pliskin here with the super chat that works says, did LA Knight take Montez Ford's spot? He says, seems that way since the Money in the Bank qualifier. Man, I'd love to think that they were going to push Montez Ford solo, but no, he had that Elimination Chamber bit, and then he went firmly back into being a tag team. So I don't think that was ever in the plans for him. No. I think they were still like, okay, what do we do with the Street Profits? We don't know. And then they've been teasing going with Lashley or MVP or some iteration of former Hurt Business for a little while now.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Dope here in chat says, what happens when you give people the title just because they are hot? They ain't got shit to do once they get it.
Well, they didn't
in the past.
Yeah, but they didn't give them the title just because they were hot. They gave them the title as part of the story with the Usos. It actually made storyline sense.
It did.
It's just they did run into the where do we go from here bit.
Yeah.
Which they had no idea.
No.
So that's just where they are.
Yep.
Anyway. That's going to do it for the show today. We're not going to make it to 2 hours, thank goodness.
I mean, it could if you wanted to.
Do we want to do that?
I mean, the only reason to do that would be just to do it.
Just to have the 2 hours there. Can we get a poll up in one of the chats? Should we go to 2 hours? Because we have like a bunch more questions here.
Yeah, there's a bunch more questions here. Do I have the endurance to do another 10 minutes? I don't know.
Where are we at right now? Hold on a second. We're actually on
right
YouTube. Well, hold on a second, though. On YouTube, we're at... Why does it not say... Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. We're at an hour 50 right now.
Yeah, I've been recording for an hour and 50 minutes right now.
You want to talk to the Ed Man for 10 minutes?
Absolutely not.
Straight? Phil McDonald for 10 minutes straight?
Absolutely not.
Let's see here. Go 2 hours. The poll says.
That's not going to happen.
Overwhelmingly, yeah. Not net. Oh, Golden Bolt here says do a Broadway.
Oh, 2 hour time limit draw, huh? Oh, here we go. Louis here. There's a question. What personalities would you like to see interviewed in the Cody documentary / movie?
Wow.
Well, I think Stephen Amell is narrating it. I thought I saw that.
He's narrating it. So obviously we need to talk to the rest of the elite.
Mm-hmm.
Get them in there.
His brother, Dustin.
His brother. His wife, Brandy. Obviously, Pharaoh.
Stardust. Yes, Pharaoh and having Stardust.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah, that's good. Pharaoh is Cody Rhodes, a good father.
Everybody he made wear the Star Trek uniforms.
MJF.
One entrance.
QT Marshall, probably. I don't know who's there. Yeah, that's a good one.
DDP will probably be interviewed for it.
Barack Obama. Interview him. What impact has Cody Rhodes had on, society at large? Then get the other side of it. Get Donald Trump. Interview him.
Oh, gosh.
Cody Rhodes.
Hell no.
Good stuff.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Philosophical figures. Maybe holograms of Socrates.
Oh, Socrates and Plato. Yeah.
Plato, perhaps. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe also incorporate an old 70s style celebrity roast featuring holograms of Rich Little, Sinatra, Dean Martin, Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That'd be wildly fun. Is Johnny Carson still alive?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Ryan K. Lamb says, does Steve feel slighted that he was invited to the Cody movie premiere like other wrestling influencers?
They already had fucking what? Like other who? Other wrestling influencers were invited to this thing?
Ooh, Steve's about to go on a rant.
Is that fucking true?
I don't know. It's the first I've heard of it.
Who the fuck else was invited? Is this a real thing? I swear to God, if I wasn't invited to and like fucking somebody else was.
You still check your spam folder, Steve.
Man. If I swear to God, if like fucking Wrestle Talk or Cultaholic, if they were fucking invited and I wasn't, I'm gonna be pissed. Oh, I'm gonna be mad. We got a raid here.
Thank you.
Sonic Wolves. Oh my God. John Hosey says JD was invited. Oh my God. Oh, wow. I'd be fucking, especially if it was Jay. If he was invited, I'd be livid. Garbage.
Wow. All right, maybe this question will help you feel better, Steve. From Patrick Sparks, what would the perfect Raw be like using categories of best stage, Tron, best opening package, best theme, best for in-ring competition?
Okay, best theme across the nation. Best opening package, the Warehouse one. Best set, the skateboard ramp. The skateboard ramp.
Really? I didn't think you liked the skateboard ramp.
Well, look, the big fist was SmackDown.
Yeah.
What else is there? Like, we're talking Raw sets, the best Raw sets.
Yeah.
Like, the old Tron was just like a truss with a small movie screen.
I know, but they had the truss it was exposed so people climb up it stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with the skateboard ramp. I didn't even like it that much, but there really isn't anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, even 2016 or 2019 SmackDown had the cool like
Rawgate.
Yeah. SmackDown has had all the cool sets.
Yeah, they have.
Okay, people are pointing out the 2001 set. I don't even know what that was.
Is that when it was like a rhombus? Parallelogram?
Oh, maybe that. Yeah, booty.
I didn't like that Tron.
Skateboard ramp. What other things do we need?
Best year for in-ring, like now.
Oh, now. Are you kidding me? Now. Gunther? Give me a break.
Best theme is Thorn in Your Eyes, the one with the Warehouse video package.
So, no, that was mine. So, Thorn in Your Eye, what else?
Oh, obviously. Best Tron, I would go with the Raw's War, the Tron presentation.
Okay. So you're just 1998 is your thing.
I guess so, in terms of presentation.
Okay.
Best opening package, yeah, do that one too, because that one's really good. but with current in-ring competitors, storylines.
Yeah, right. Okay. Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Just the package of 98 with everything else of now.
Yeah.
I think that'd be tops.
So 98 everything except for the in-ring now.
Yeah, storylines too. Yeah.
What kind of crowd would you go with? So those crowds back in 98 were kind of problematic with those signs.
Now
man.
crowd.
Now crowd. People need more signs, but like good signs.
Well,
I love all the Simon signs. Give this an up. All that's great. Simon's awesome.
Yeah, that's
great.
Yeah, Simon's
great. He's the one guy I wouldn't be pissed off if they were like, Simon, would you come to this? If Simon Miller, if he was invited to come to the Raw to the Cody Rhodes thing, I'd be like, I give that a golden up.
Great call.
That gets the best up. Whatever the top up is, that's what I give that. Because Simon Miller is truly the best.
Yeah, awesome dude.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that acoustic Raw theme? That's the one I'd use.
So bad. You wouldn't do bad. What was the SmackDown? Was it the SmackDown one that you had such a big problem with?
Oh, it was a SmackDown.
Rock with Me.
Problem with. Yeah. That was the worst SmackDown theme ever, below AC/DC.
Yeah, that was tough. That was
really a dreadful song.
Yeah. Did you hear about the H title match that's been booked?
Mm-hmm.
Vacaville, August 26th. Cal Jack is putting the H title up against Drake Frost.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fucking match.
It is going to be a good match. That's
going to be a good match, yeah. Have we patched things up with Cal Jack yet?
I mean, he's not suspended from ACW anymore, right?
I think technically because he won the H title, yeah. That's the case.
Yeah, so I guess to that degree, yeah.
We should just go and find out. Okay, if he gut wrenches us, we're not on good terms anymore. But if he doesn't
gut wrenches us, I think that's grounds to strip him of the H title if we want to do that.
I don't know if that's like contractually speaking, if that's like true. I don't know if we can just strip him of it. Here's a question.
Title, we gotta have some language in contracts to so yeah.
Well, that's a good point. I was gonna say we'd have to hire a lawyer, but ChatGPT does that now. Create an agreement vis-a-vis championship title.
Wasn't there someone did a legal filing with ChatGPT and cited a precedent that didn't exist?
Yeah, that was kind of awesome. But no, I actually did this. I was like, I came up with, I forget what the situation was, but I was like, hey, come up with, because I heard about this. You just tell ChatGPT to like come up with a legal document, and then it does it. But we wouldn't be establishing any precedent. It'd be like legal language.
I know. I'm just saying, we saw how quickly and easily that ChatGPT screws up wrestling quizzes. So I don't know if I'd trust it with legal documents.
Oh yeah.
Whether they are meant to establish precedents or otherwise.
Let's see. Oh, this is a good question from Patrick Cheeseman. Surprised he doesn't know the answer to this. He says, excuse my naivete, but what exactly is a plus delta? And is there anything above it like a plus epsilon?
So Tony Khan described CM Punk as his plus delta without adding a whole lot of additional details, but we assumed it meant he did actually. He talked about how CM Punk helped drive revenues and numbers and metrics and stuff like that. But if you look up the definition of plus delta, that's not what it refers to.
Yeah, it has something to do with meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I'm sure that there's probably like, billionaire business speak that gets around, and maybe plus delta snuck its way into that. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe Tony Khan was looking at the media scrum as a business meeting, and he was.
Oh, that could be. Because, it seemed to be at first when he was talking about it, it was like, oh, all the business metrics indicate CM Punk is important for our business. He drives revenue. And so that's how we started using it.
Yeah.
But then we actually look up the definition of plus delta. Do you have it in front of you? Or is that what you're looking
continuous, this is from Google search, continuous improvement discussion performed at the end of a meeting, project, or event used to evaluate the session or activity. That's a plus delta.
Yeah. I don't know. You want to talk to Edman really quick? We got 30 seconds left.
No, we got 15 seconds. We need to talk to anybody else. We can fill 15.
It's the Edman.
You're going to make this show go less than 2 hours. Goodbye, everybody.
What's going on, everybody? That's right. It's Ed Manning. I'm here. Nothing to preview. We got NXT tonight, but guess what? The Edman isn't here to talk NXT. I'm also not here to talk about being horny because Larson specified last time we talked. No horny talk. I am, in fact, engorged fully right now, though. Just to let everybody know, in case that was something on your minds. All right, I've gotten the word that we have... Oh, no. According to YouTube, we still have 25 seconds left. Does anybody have any questions for the Edman? I'll take any questions right now. Oh, let's see here. Nightbot asks, are you engorged right now? I am. Cronus 2024 says, Edman, how do you feel about blue lines as underfaker? I don't know what that means. I don't know who that is. Remorse Betrayal says, where is Steve, Edman? Jorge says, do you live in the River Stygian? All right, I've been getting the wrap-up sign. It's gone over 2 hours here at Going in Raw. I love to go in Raw. We'll talk to you guys later. The Edman's heading back down the River